Another week, another episode. It's Austin
and Brooke
here with the CMMC Compliance Guide Podcast. Brooke, have you ever wondered how in the heck I roped you into all this when you're not much of a limelight person?
Well, just about every time we do one of these, but I think that's about what we're fixing to talk about.
Yep, that's it. And let's address the elephant in the room, how we're matching today. That was an accident. We didn't intend to do that, but here we are. We're just sticking with it.
I just wanted to try out our new shirts.
I did too, yeah.
Great minds think alike, I guess, right?
Absolutely. Oh, man. I was reading a book and it was addressing podcasts, and it said, hey, if you're starting a podcast, you should tell people how you started because they're probably wondering that. So that's what we're doing.
Origin story.
Yeah, origin story.
All right.
So it all started, and we kind of got a phone call from a local machine shop, and they do pretty much exclusively aerospace stuff, right? You know what I'm talking about. Fighter jet parts and allegedly stuff like that. And ended up changing the direction of our business. And that's how our journey to CMMC and NIST 800-171 compliance began.
Absolutely.
So I was knowing that, I was hoping you could kind of explain how cybersecurity compliance entered the DoD supply chain.
Sure. And I wish I had a picture we could put back here, with so I have a presentation that shows these things, but if you look at
should have rigged the TV up.
Exactly, we should have. So if you look at our Joint Strike Fighter, China, this is my favorite one to show. But anyway, there's more than this example. There are several examples. But if you look at our Joint Strike Fighter, China a few years ago released their new fighter that looked amazingly like our Joint Strike Fighter.
It's not a coincidence, is it?
I wonder how that happened. But you can look. They've got a Humvee lookalike. They've got several other things, right? And so they didn't necessarily do this by breaking into all the big guys. Not that they haven't ever had any breaches or anything. I'm not saying that, but they didn't just break into Lockheed, Bell, or whoever it might be. Really, what they do is they break into what we call mom and pop or small businesses, small and medium businesses who don't have as much resources to spend on cybersecurity as the bigger guys do, right? And so they broke into there. They gathered a bunch of their citizens up and said, "Hey, we've got this puzzle. We got these little widgets that we need you to put together and see what we have." So they did. So, but that's how it all started. The government said, we've got to stop this because really what China just did or what China is doing is they are leapfrogging decades of R&D and billions and probably trillions of dollars in R&D to catch up with us. And we're just giving it to them in a matter of speaking, but we're just giving it to them. So the DoD wants to stop that, and really it's for our safety and security. It's to protect our war fighters. It's, there's a lot of good reasons to do this.
And they're outsourcing their research and development to us.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Just get a few hackers together and, you got your research and development done.
Right. Yeah. You didn't need to spend those billions and trillions of dollars.
No, not at all.
Smart strategy.
They're good at it.
Yep. Absolutely. So, and that goes for, really all the nation states.
It does. China's it's just so glaringly obvious with China, and it's not just the DoD. It is. They steal all sorts of technology from us, and they have for a really long time. So, but anyway, that's where this comes from, and what the DoD is trying to protect.
Well, now that we are going to put this on the internet, you can no longer go to China anymore. So you remove that off the.
I think I just got banned.
Yep. So I wouldn't go. Might not come back. So we got that phone call from that aerospace machine shop, and they found us via Google. I've been having trouble talking all day, so I'm glad that today we're recording.
Talking about Gouda cheese now? Or?
Yeah, Gouda. It is good on a burger. Melted over patty, but
absolutely. Yeah. I think that's a left turn, but
yeah, it is. I'm good at those. Getting off topic. So anyway, we got that phone call. They found us on the Google via Google.
Yep.
Is what I was trying to say. And basically it came from, their buyer at Lockheed is who they allegedly worked for. And
Allegedly, yes.
And
I think possibly.
It basically said that they needed to comply with NIST 800-171.
Yes.
Right. And so we didn't really fully understand what it was at the time. We're familiar with NIST. We were doing cybersecurity. That's how they found us, actually, just searching cybersecurity, and asked if we'd help. And we said, we'll figure it out. So that was back in 2017. It's kind of when NIST 800-171 all started. It's not really when it started, but that's kind of when they were really pushing
kicked in, right?
For it. So can you explain kind of how we took the time to research and figure out and our partnership with Bo and how all that went down?
Sure. So as you said, we've always tried to lean real heavily into cybersecurity because, frankly, there's a lot of risk there, and if we don't protect ourselves and protect our clients well, that's risk for us, and their risk is also our risk. And as business owners, it's hard to just accept that risk and not do anything about it. And so we're able to sleep a little better at night when we provide better cybersecurity. So we already did that, and so when we looked at NIST 800-171, we read through it and we were like, there were a couple of onerous things in there, but really, we looked at it and thought, gosh, this is everything that we want all of our customers to have. This is our full stack. Oops, sorry. My hand went off screen, I see. So anyway, this is our full stack in a matter of speaking in our industry parlance. But what we want all of our clients to have is what helps us sleep better at night, right? And because it keeps them safe, keeps us safe. So we really realized that. But we did also realize that a big part of that is it's partly cybersecurity technology, and a lot of it is policy and procedures and how you implement everything, right? And so we realized that, and being a person that I just like to get down to brass tacks, and I like to get things done and be done with it. I don't like to write policies. I don't like all that kind of fun stuff, although I do a lot of that these days. But we partnered with we knew a gentleman through some other contacts named Bo Birdwell, and he commanded in his previous life.
I realized I should have written all of this down so we didn't get it wrong, and I didn't. So,
am I addressing another question ahead of time?
No. Okay. I'm just realizing we may get his credentials wrong.
Yes, so I think I've got him right. Yeah. But anyway, I believe he's a commander of a cyber squadron. All that is public information, so I'm not telling anything I can't. And plus, he didn't tell us anything that he couldn't tell us. Yeah. The stuff he could tell us was pretty cool. But anyway, he commanded a cyber squadron that did offensive, defensive capabilities for the United States, and he is very credentialed and very capable, and rose up through the ranks. And he did that in the Air Force. Just a awesome individual, and just a great guy too. I love Bo to death. And so he got out, went into the private sector, worked for a company, a large company, decided that he heard about this NIST 800-171 thing coming, and it was actually going to start happening. And so he decided he wanted to start his own company. Started it, and he was doing the implementation basically of or doing the policies and procedures, gaps analysis, all that kind of fun stuff, and then setting everybody up with a POAM basically, for NIST 800-171. And so that's what we needed and what we wanted, and so we partnered with him, and we also helped him develop policies. Bo, you're thinking along the lines of a 30,000 person company, or whatever it is,
a military budget.
Let's bring this down a little bit and look at talk about small medium business.
How can we make this feasible for a machine shop?
Yes,
that has,
exactly.
50 employees,
100 employees, 5 employees. How are you going to do this for those organizations?
But also make the government happy,
and also make the government happy, right? So there's a way to do that. But we discussed all this, talked about how how the policies should be and how, what to implement and all that kind of fun stuff. So I really enjoyed working with Bo and really enjoyed helping him get his company off the ground. I don't know if I'm jumping ahead or not, but he decided that starting a small business wasn't for him, and he wanted to go back and work in the corporate world, which is understandable because running a small business and growing a small business is not the easiest thing in the world. So he did, for some crazy reason, we want to do that. But anyway, he decided he wanted to go back in the corporate world, and we were able to basically purchase, come into a business deal with him to use the product and everything that he created. So which we really appreciate. And so that's where we came in, and we started doing the other part of that I said we didn't like before. The other thing Bo helped me realize is that, this is doable and I can do it, and I can do it and enjoy it, So the gaps analysis, the SSP, the policies, the POAM, all that kind of fun stuff, we do that all the time these days. So, So there's a very long-winded answer to that question.
Hey, but it's the answer, isn't it? Yeah. So, that's great. Thank you. So, we basically after that went back to that aerospace machine shop, and they're still a customer this day, and
they are.
And we took what we learned with them, and now we're doing it, for anyone in the DoD supply chain that needs their CMMC not done for them, because we can't do everything for them, but done with them.
Right.
So we're kind of, their guide, their Sherpa on the trek up Everest, the compliance mountain.
Good way to put it.
Yeah. And so that was basically the idea for the podcast is, we've got people paying us to do this with them and be their compliance guide. And so we were like, you know what? We could go put this out on the internet and share the secrets and help people educate and tell everyone everything we know. And because, it's hard to find information out there, and especially for compliance and CMMCs in particular, all the information you find is super technical and hard to read.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So we're hoping to be that intermediary and help with that.
Absolutely. So. Just to build one more on what you just said just now, it's hard to understand. It's kind of technical. The other thing it is when you look at the 110 controls and the 320 objectives that make up NIST 800-171, Revision 2, when you look all that up, that's fine to read all that. But then guess what? It refers back to other documents like NIST 853. And so you have to then go read those to get some context and understand what they're getting at. So so there's a lot of reading, a lot of research. Bo helped us understand that and helped us get through it. And that a lot of that just drives me crazy. Just put it right there. I just need to know, just bullet point it, But anyway, so there is a lot to that, to reading those controls and objectives and understanding what's behind them too.
Absolutely. A lot of time, a lot of legwork, a lot of reading, enthralling reading that you don't want to do right before you sleep, right?
It will put you to sleep.
Yeah. That's basically the creation of the podcast itself. That's our journey. And then, we created the podcast for that reason. Our mission with this podcast is to help, the CNC machine shop trying to get into DoD work, or the small business that, has been passed down generation to generation, and now it's in the son's hands to figure out this new issue and keep all those employees at the shop employed and that family business going, or even just the larger company that quality guy or compliance manager that doesn't know where to start but have been put in charge of it. So that's who we're here to help. So
absolutely.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if we could start from scratch and figure this out, you can too. And that's why we're here, and we're trying to be here to make it as easy as possible for you. So, I also just want to encourage our listeners to reach out in the comments, text us, email us, give us a call. All of our information is available. You'll see it below. You'll see it on our websites. Please reach out and ask your questions. We'll answer them here for free when you might have to pay for a compliance person a lot of money to get them answered. So get them to us, and we'll feature them here on the show. We'd love to get those answers out there for you, and so everyone else can learn from your question too, because chances are if you're having that question, everyone else probably is too. So be brave enough to ask it, please. And make sure you what does it happen? What happens whenever you follow somebody on a podcast? I'm losing my mind right now trying to think of the word. Follow us. You know the word I'm talking about. Wow, this is making us look really good right now.
I don't know. I'm not real good at social media.
Yeah.
So just follow us on.
Yeah. Do the thing that you subscribe. That's the word I was looking for.
That's yes.
Good. Subscribe to the podcast, please, and get notified. Anyway, and I think that's pretty much what we've got. We've got some new podcasts coming up. I think we might have a conversation with an assessor. So I don't know when that's going to be, but we're going to actually have a certified assessor sitting down and talking to us and kind of spilling the beans on how they're going to assess and certify companies like yourselves. And so if you've got any questions for an assessor, it might be a good time to submit, because here in the next couple of weeks we'll have them on the show.
Absolutely, yeah. I talked to him. He was excited about being on, and I went through and got some training myself. I got some assessor training. I'm not a CCA. I'm a CCP, but I did get some assessor training because I wanted to know for our clients how all this is going to shake out and what it's going to look like. But it's good to listen to me tell you what assessors will do. But after all, I'm not an assessor. I didn't get that so I can be an assessor. I got it so I could understand. I got that certification so I'll know how better to implement and how to answer questions and what they're looking for. But so it'd be good to have an assessor on and talk to him and ask him some questions and hear it from the horse's mouth, if you will. So yeah, it'll be good. He's a good guy, very knowledgeable. So it'll be good to have him on.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're also going to be at all the CMMC events. We're going to be there as a vendor and as attendees. So
Yes.
We're going to go learn all that stuff. So that way you don't have to go fly out to DC and all these places. And then we're going to try to do a show from the show and just kind of tell you guys what we're learning there and distill that to you in actionable information. So.
But if you do happen to come, look us up. We'd be happy to talk to you there at the show. We'll both be there. Probably have another person or two there, and we'd absolutely love to talk to you.
Awesome. I think that's it. You got anything else?
That's it.
All right. Thank you guys. Like, subscribe was the word, and we'll see you next time.